Welcome to Leaders of Today, Teens to Titans, the podcast dedicated to empowering our youth to become leaders of tomorrow. I'm your host, Lorraine Connell, and today we're kicking off a new series focused on helping parents and teens navigate the complex world of teenage relationships. We're diving into a topic that every parent of teenagers will find incredibly relevant: teen friendships. In the last episode 1 of this series, we talked about peer relationship. We're taking the relationship of the social network of teens and adding a level of intimacy and connection where we're talking about teen friendships. This is the second episode in the series dedicated to understanding and supporting the ever-changing social lives of our teens. When our kids become teenagers, their friendships change dramatically. Kids who were once close friends may drift apart while new connections form. The onset of mean girl behavior and other social dynamics can be overwhelming for both teens and parents alike. As parents, it can be so frustrating to feel off base when we try and share our observations about their friendships, especially when we end up comforting them after a friend betrays their trust. It's a challenging time for them and for us as parents. So what can we do? Honestly, my best advice is to be a listener and show genuine curiosity about what's happening in their social lives. For example, your child comes home and says so-and-so is doing this. I would just ask them to tell you more. What happened before? Where were you? What I have found in myself and my own children is that in our minds, we create a story. And that story is often so far from the actual reality and truth. So if you're asking questions, then they're thinking about the facts. They have to identify what is fact and what is made up in their heads. An activity that I do in the teen leadership cohort is a personal web. Because I know that whenever I tell my child or other parents tell their children, that is not a good friend, the first thing that child does is put up a wall. You don't understand. How could you understand? This relationship is so important to me. The personal web allows them to look at their relationships from a place that is not based on emotions. When I do this activity, teens will often say to me, wow, I actually had no idea how such fill in the blank positive, negative relationship was with this person. When I did my web, it was so clear to me. I hear that so often. After I did my web, it was so clear to me. I can tell you personally that when I did my web, I saw several people in my life who were causing me such anxiety, such turmoil, that I couldn't deny those emotions. I couldn't deny the feeling. It was staring me in the face. Teens generally know who is good for them and who is toxic, but it really is so hard to admit mistakes in relationships at this age. I don't want to say I shouldn't be part of this group. I don't want to have to admit that so-and-so is a queen bee, but they know. They absolutely know. It's just so hard to say it out loud and admit they fell into the wrong crowd. Seeing these dynamics laid out on paper can be incredibly eye-opening. It's either a reality check or a confirmation of how lucky they are. The activity involves creating the web, starting with yourself in the middle, and links all the people that are connected to them. I encourage teens to take a day or two to actually complete this, as they may not remember all the people they're connected to at once. And as they go through their daily routine, they might recall people on the periphery of their lives. I encourage them to think outside the people they talk to on a regular basis and think about who are the supports in their lives: therapists, counselors, teachers, bosses, coworkers. The list can be endless. Once the web is complete, we evaluate each of those relationships for positive or negative qualities. For example, we will pick 2 different colors and we will use those 2 colors throughout the activity. And we assess a quality like power. Let's say we choose red and green. We will use red the whole time for one quality around power, and then we would use green for the other quality. I would use red to identify a relationship where there is a power imbalance. Either they have power over someone or someone has power over them. And green would be the relationships that are equal in power. So a boss may have power over me. A teacher may have power over a teen. A friend may not let me make decisions on my own without consulting them. That is power over me. I like for them to think about each relationship individually and assess, is this red where there's an imbalance, or is this green where it's pretty neutral? They will look and observe other qualities in the activity. But this is a great starting point for your teen to see what types of relationships they have. Honestly, I also encourage you as the parent to create your own web and then share your findings with your teen. This can open the door for such meaningful conversations about relationships, especially if you realize certain things about relationships that you didn't know before you did the web. When you're a good listener or a listener for your teen, showing curiosity and using tools like the personal web activity, we can help our teens navigate their friendships more effectively. This approach not only helps them identify positive and toxic relationships, but it also fosters open communication between you and your teen, which is so invaluable. To stay updated and receive all the resources we're sharing, including detailed guides and activities, make sure you join our email series. You can find the link to join in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Leaders of Today, Teens to Titans. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other parents who might benefit from this conversation. Together, we can support our teens in building healthy, positive relationships and become leaders of tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Lorraine Connell, and this is Leaders of Today, Teens to Titans.
Obstacles, imagine what they can do. I know you can imagine too. I know you can.